In this video, we're going to show how to leave the centers of a design polished. So we've brought in this design here that doesn't have any fills whatsoever. So the first thing that we'll do is hit fill grayscale on it. That combines all of the inside pieces together to leave them 10% gray, and then it gives the outline a black fill. However, there are parts in here that we don't want to have a frosted area. So what we'll do is we'll take knockout and we will come in and knock out those pieces that we want to show through to the polish. In this particular design, we also want the center of the cross to show through to the polish. So we'll go ahead and do the same thing and knock those out. As soon as we're done, we'll hit escape to make sure that we end the knockout tool, and then we're done. That way, when we apply a granite fill, the center of that cross will be polished and all those little pieces will show up polished as well. The way that this works when using knockout is it takes that inside piece and extracts it from the frosted area and instead combines it with the black outline, thereby cutting out that area from the outline and showing through to whatever's underneath it. So that works great if you're able to show through to the polish underneath and that's what you want. However, let's say, as an example, that we were to take this stone and using our panels and spacing docker, we create an offset, let's say -4 inches, and hit apply. That's going to build a panel to the inside here. And now you can see that we see the panel. So that's not quite what we want in this particular case. And so if we want to have these polished and not showing through to what's underneath it, then what we would need to do is we would need to instead come in here to this piece, and we're going to extract the subpath. We have to do that for each of the pieces that we want. So we'll click on it, click any node, and click extract. And that's going to pull that subpath away from the rest of that design. So we'll just do that one at a time. Extract the subpath. And we'll have to do that. If we just click on it, if we click on the next subpath, it's not going to give us that option to extract like this if I just click on the next one, because this one is actually now part of the old path as opposed to the new one that we just created. So that's why we have to keep clicking on the original and then extracting that subpath that way. So we've extracted all of those subpaths. Because they're separated from each other, if I click and swipe from here to there, it's not going to select any of the frosted or the other parts because I didn't go far enough down. And so we know that's going to let us grab just those pieces. And I would normally combine them together because that'll make it faster for filling in with granites. And then I'll hit 6 on the keyboard to make it polished and shift page up to bring it to the front. And then we can click on that and apply the fill to it. So now if I go back to my grayscale, we'll see that this piece and this piece and this piece are the 3 different pieces that make up our design. But because this is in front of everything else, you're able to not see that panel that lies behind it. So once we're done, what I'd normally do is grab those 3 pieces and group them together so that they move as a group. So depending on whether or not you need stuff behind it, or whether you just want to be quick and fast, would determine if you want to have those pieces separated from the rest of your design, or if you want to just use knockout to make it work. So I'm going to take this design and do it one more time very quickly. I'll take it and I'll just hit M on the keyboard to mirror it to the other side, and then we will fill it with grayscale. This time I'll use knockout again to knock those pieces out. And that way you can see the difference between this one and this one, how you're able to see through on that and not on this. So I'll end my knockout with escape. If I wanted it to be the same as this, I don't actually have to go through the extract process. It's a little faster if I were to just grab the outline, which is this, and then I will break it apart. So I'll just hit break apart. And then holding shift, if I select just the outline, that's going to remove the outline from the selection, and that gives us all of those inside pieces. So then I can combine those together, fill them in with 30% black, and move them to the front. That's a little bit faster than individually extracting subpaths. That did also grab these two pieces over here, which I probably don't want. So again, if I break it apart, I'm just going to hold shift and click on these two to get rid of them from my selection. I'll recombine, and now I've got those pieces like I wanted them before. But then we're left with these two pieces by themselves, and I will just manually recombine them with the outline. And by doing that, they become part of this piece and show through to what's behind it. That way when we fill it, it will fill in nicely.